Poll aggregator 538 says the polls got the presidential race winner wrong in 3 states, Florida, North Carolina, and the 2nd Congressional District in Maine, which all went to President Trump. There were also overestimates of presumptive President-elect Joe Biden's victory margins in a number of swing states like Wisconsin and Michigan.
Based on preliminary analysis, it seems like the polls did not do a super good job at predicting the vote share for the candidates. And in particular, they seemed to underperform in terms of underpredict the amount of support there was for President Trump.
Polling studies show has missed the mark a number of times in recent years. Don Moore's Accuracy Lab at the University of California, Berkeley studied 1,400 polls from 11 U.S. election cycles, with the most recent being 2016. They found those polls had results within the margin of error just 60% of the time.
We can complain about the failures of polls in recent times, but the evidence does not suggest that it's gotten all that much worse. Some things have changed. It used to be that response rates were higher. People were more willing to respond to polls on the phone. That has been dropping.
Joshua Clinton chairs a task force on the performance of pre-election polls for the American Association for Public Opinion Research. He says pollsters get responses from just 6% of the people they reach out to.
Our country is so polarized in the United States that it's really changed the dynamics potentially in ways that aren't really great for polling, right? So it may be the case that there's more Democrats and more kind of educated people working from home that are willing to take a survey. But it may also be the case that those people are also really motivated to express their frustration. Whereas if you're a supporter for President Trump and you get a call from a pollster, right, maybe you're less reluctant to talk to that person or that poll because I don't really trust what they're going to do with my data.
It's possible to imagine that support for Trump is associated with suspicion of the mainstream press and pollsters, such that Trump supporters might be less likely to respond to polls, and that issue has gotten worse since the 2016 election. I think some pollsters tried to factor that in accounting for their failures in 2016 and correct for that more in 2020. Doesn't look like they went quite far enough.
With vote totals still coming in, researchers say it's still too early for a full assessment of how election polls fared. But they do highlight a challenging problem that persists: how to improve accuracy when a segment of the population may be unwilling to participate. Mark New, CGTN, San Francisco.